Welcome to the Tim Booker channel, where wisdom deserves to be shared. Wishing you an enjoyable listening experience. Today, the book I'm going to interpret for you is Dune. The highly anticipated blockbuster film adaptation of Dune was released globally on October 22, 2021, introducing many to this monumental epic in the world of science fiction. However, I must tell you that the content portrayed in the movie likely covers less than 1/10 of the original work. After all, Dune isn't just a thick book, it's a thick series of 6 books, not to mention the numerous intricate twists and turns. Presenting the vast universe of Dune is quite a headache for any director, and it entails significant financial risks for film studios. But for the average reader, as long as you aren't intimidated by its thickness and can push through the initial challenging and unfamiliar 100 pages, it might become a rare reading experience in your lifetime. Renowned science fiction giant Arthur C. Clarke praised Dune, saying that it could only be compared to The Lord of the Rings. However, before you dive into the Dune universe, I'd like to introduce its origin. In 1957, a young man named Frank Herbert traveled to the Oregon coast. Oregon is in the northwestern part of the United States. He was writing an article for a magazine about the U.S. Department of Agriculture's experiments with planting grass to stop sand dunes from encroaching on the local area. Herbert discovered that sand dunes could swallow entire cities, lakes, rivers, and highways. His meticulous research on the ecology of Dune and his personal experiences isolated in the vast desert sands stimulated his novel's inspiration. He decided to create a planet entirely covered in desert. 8 years later, Dune was written, but due to its nearly 900 pages and complex constructed languages, it was rejected by over 20 publishers. Finally, it was taken up by a small publishing house specializing in mechanical repair manuals. After its publication, Dune became the first novel to win both the Hugo and Nebula Awards simultaneously and gradually attracted a devoted fan base. By 1979, Dune had sold over 10 million copies. Herbert continued to write 5 sequels, deepening and expanding the epic's scope. The Dune hexalogy not only profoundly influenced works of fantasy, including Star Wars and A Song of Ice and Fire, but also predicted many real-world issues such as environmental degradation, oil wars, and cultural conflicts. In summary, within the Dune universe, there's both popular entertainment and profound contemplation, and what readers gain ultimately depends on their own desires and perspectives. I hope my interpretation can convey the core plot and ideas of the Dune universe within this limited time. The discussion will be divided into 2 parts. In the first part, we'll explore the complex setting of the Dune universe and the plot of the first book, analyzing the real-world foundations behind this fantastical story. In the second part, we'll delve into the subsequent developments in the Dune universe and discuss what ideas this sprawling saga spanning tens of thousands of years seeks to convey. Alright, let's not waste any time and dive right into the vast and enigmatic universe of Dune. The story of Dune takes place approximately 23,000 years in the future, around 10,000 years after the Common Era, although in the novel, they use the term AG, after Guild, instead of AD. AG refers to the formation of the Spacing Guild, which monopolizes advanced interstellar travel technology. All business and warfare between planets rely on the Spacing Guild starships, making its establishment a historically significant event. The Spacing Guild's formation depended on 2 key factors, technology and spice. Let's delve into each of them separately. In the world of Dune, technology is based on a miraculous interaction between subatomic particles known as the Boltzmann effect. It serves 2 primary purposes. First, it enables the folding of space, allowing starships to travel faster than light. The Spacing Guild monopolizes this technology. Second, it creates shields that render high-speed and laser weapons ineffective. The Boltzmann effect leads to a unique blend of space-age technology and medieval-style combat in the Dune universe, with feudal lords now governing entire planets. Star Wars owes much of its distinctive setting to this unique concept. Lightsabers in Star Wars, for instance, are essentially cold weapons despite their name. Unlike Star Wars, where intelligent robots are absent, in the Dune universe, machines that can think have been strictly forbidden. This prohibition stems from a past war between humans and intelligent machines that lasted over 80 years, culminating in humanity's victory. As a result, the prohibition against creating thinking machines became a fundamental rule, and humans are left to perform all complex tasks themselves. Now, let's turn our attention to the second key factor, spice. The discovery of spice compensates for the stagnation and regression of technology. Spice, also known as mélange, is extraordinarily precious. Not only does it double human lifespan, but it also enhances mental faculties to the point where human minds can replace computers. The Spacing Guild's top navigators immerse themselves in high concentrations of spice, gaining extraordinary computational and prescient abilities. However, excessive spice consumption leads to physical mutations, turning individuals into grotesque creatures resembling fat-headed fish, confined to tanks. Regular individuals who consume spice cannot avoid mutation but also cannot live without it. It's essential to note that spice originates from the excretions of colossal sandworms, the signature creatures of the Dune series. These sandworms, often seen on book covers or movie posters, are gigantic, reaching lengths of up to 500 meters, dwarfing the Earth's largest animal, the blue whale, which is only 20 to 30 meters long. Sandworms are highly territorial and attack anything on the surface, making regular rhythmic sounds, including spice mining vehicles. As a result, these vehicles are often suspended from large aircraft for quick escapes, although many times, they are still unable to evade sandworm attacks. This danger posed by sandworms makes spice mining extremely hazardous. Yet, spice is a byproduct of the sandworm's life cycle and is essential for the functioning of the entire universe. There's only one planet where spice is produced, and it's called Arrakis, primarily composed of desert terrain and colloquially known as Dune. Arrakis serves as the primary stage for the novel story. Here's how it all begins. The Emperor of the known universe assigns control of Arrakis spice mining to House Atreides, a rising power. Arrakis was previously ruled by House Harkonnen, and there is a deep-seated enmity between the two houses. The Emperor's move is an obvious ploy to eliminate House Atreides. However, the Duke of House Atreides, Leto Atreides, is a heroic and strategic leader who understands the impending danger and decides to confront it head-on. Unexpectedly, at a crucial moment, he is betrayed by his most trusted personal physician, a man named Dr. Wellington Yu, who goes by the nickname Yu. You may recognize this character from the 2021 film adaptation, portrayed by actor Zhang Zhen. Yu disables House Atreides' protective shields and injures the Duke himself with a poison dagger. Yu's betrayal is shrouded in mystery, as he had undergone a unique form of brainwashing that theoretically made him incapable of betrayal. However, as the story unfolds, it becomes clear that even the most well-conditioned minds can have unexpected lapses. Despite the betrayal, Duke Leto's concubine, Jessica, manages to escape with their pregnant daughter, Alia, and their 15-year-old son, Paul. They find refuge with the indigenous people of Arrakis, known as the Freemen. The Freemen are adapted to the harsh environment, living with extreme heat during the day and cold at night. However, the most fearsome aspect of Arrakis is the giant sandworms, which are a symbol of the Dune series and are likely recognizable from book covers or movie promotional materials. These sandworms, despite resembling colossal, worm-like creatures, can grow to lengths of 4 to 500 meters, far exceeding Earth's largest animals, like the blue whale, which reaches only 30 meters in length. Sandworms are highly territorial and attack anything on the surface that produces rhythmic sounds, including spice-harvesting vehicles. To escape them, these vehicles are often suspended from large aircraft, but they are not always successful in evading sandworm attacks. The presence of sandworms makes spice mining extremely perilous. Yet, spice is a byproduct of the sandworm's life cycle and is crucial for the functioning of the entire universe. There is only one planet where spice is produced, Arrakis, which is primarily composed of desert terrain and colloquially known as Dune. Arrakis serves as the primary setting for the novel's story, and here is how the tale unfolds. The Emperor of the known universe assigns control of Arrakis spice mining to House Atreides, a rising power. Arrakis was previously ruled by House Harkonnen, and there is a deep-seated enmity between the two houses. The Emperor's move is an obvious ploy to eliminate House Atreides. However, the Duke of House Atreides, Leto Atreides, is a heroic and strategic leader who understands the impending danger and decides to confront it head-on. Unexpectedly, at a crucial moment, he is betrayed by his most trusted personal physician, a man named Dr. Wellington Yu, who goes by the nickname Yu. You may recognize this character from the 2021 film adaptation, portrayed by actor Zhang Zhen. Yu disables House Atreides' protective shields and injures the Duke himself with a poison dagger. Yu's betrayal is shrouded in mystery, as he had undergone a unique form of brainwashing that theoretically made him incapable of betrayal. However, as the story unfolds, it becomes clear that even the most well-conditioned minds can have unexpected lapses. Despite the betrayal, Duke Leto's concubine, Jessica, manages to escape with their pregnant daughter, Alia, and their 15-year-old son, Paul. They find refuge with the indigenous people of Arrakis, known as the Freemen. The Freemen are adapted to the harsh environment. The Freemen people strongly resent the brutal oppression of House Harkonnen in their homeland. Within their tribe, there has always been a legend that foretells the arrival of a mother and son from the stars. This son is destined to become the Freemen's savior, leading them out of their suffering. The concept of a chosen one or a messiah is quite common in literature and media, as you've likely encountered in numerous novels, films, and comics. However, Dune adds a unique twist to this familiar trope because the messiah legend within the story is intentionally spread as a rumor. Now, let's talk about Jessica's identity. She's not just an ordinary woman, she's a member of the Bene Gesserit sisterhood. Bene Gesserit is Latin, roughly translating to doers of good deeds. The Bene Gesserit sisterhood is one of the oldest and most powerful organizations in the universe, consisting entirely of women who undergo special training and use unique drugs to gain extended control over their bodies and minds. In essence, they can be seen as the female counterpart of the Jedi Order in the Star Wars universe. Members of the sisterhood are tasked with forming strategic marriages with prominent families to consolidate various genetic traits and ultimately give birth to the prophesied Messiah. This ambitious breeding program has been meticulously executed for over 2,000 years. In Jessica's generation, they were one step away from success. According to the plan, Jessica was supposed to bear a daughter with Duke Leto, and this daughter, through marriage with the heir of House Harkonnen, would give birth to the Messiah. However, as previously mentioned, Jessica is Duke Leto's concubine, and he has no official wife. The official wife position is just a placeholder to attract powerful family alliances. Leto and Jessica share a deep love, and he decides to have her bear a male heir, defying the sisterhood's millennium-old plan. It's important to note that members of the sisterhood have precise control over the gender of their offspring down to the cellular level. Jessica, against their plan, gives birth to a son, Paul, bringing the Messiah a generation earlier. Is this early arrival of the Messiah legitimate? The Bene Gesserit sisterhood cannot definitively answer this question, and readers also harbor doubts. However, for the Freeman people, the answer is unequivocal. The sisterhood has an affiliated organization known as the Missionaria Protectiva, which has been spreading legends of the Messiah's arrival among primitive tribes throughout the universe for thousands of years. These legends are always somewhat vague, making it easy for them to align with existing beliefs accidentally. Therefore, it's possible that someday, in some corner of the universe, these legends might prove advantageous to the sisterhood. As fate would have it, Jessica and her son, Paul, carry the blessing of this legend and quickly integrate into the Freeman society. Paul adopts a very Freeman-sounding name, Muad'Dib, which refers to a desert mouse that lives in the sand dunes. Soon after, he uses special tools to tame the largest sandworm, becoming the new leader of the Freemen. In essence, he legitimizes the Messiah legend with his exceptional abilities. This part of the plot closely mirrors the storyline of the movie Avatar, with sandworms replacing the flying creatures. In the spice-rich environment, Paul's prescient abilities also gradually awaken. At this point, the Bene Gesserit sisterhood sends a special water of life, which is a deadly substance created from sandworm excretions. It's a concentrated form of spice and highly toxic. However, the sisterhood knows secret ways to adapt to its toxicity, gaining powerful abilities that allow them to connect with the ancestral consciousness of the sisterhood. Jessica successfully passes the test of the water of life, ascending to the rank of a Reverend Mother within the sisterhood. Paul becomes the first male to drink the water of life without dying, making him the first male Reverend Mother in history. He gains the ability to see the past, present, and future, aligning with the Bene Gesserit's expectations for their Messiah. With Paul's abilities reaching their peak, he leads the Freeman people in a guerrilla war against the spice production, forcing the Emperor to intervene. In the chaos of a sandstorm, Paul launches a final assault, defeating the combined forces of House Harkonnen and the Emperor. Paul personally kills the heir of House Harkonnen. The Emperor is forced to abdicate, and Paul marries the Emperor's eldest daughter, becoming the new Emperor of the Galactic Empire. So, this sums up the core plot of the first part of Dune. If you find it somewhat familiar, it's because many later works have drawn inspiration from it, including Star Wars, Avatar, and A Song of Ice and Fire. These massive IPs have undoubtedly inspired countless imitations. While later works may have adopted successful story templates, the Dune series itself follows a hidden inevitability, shaped by the author's profound understanding of tradition and reality. Let's go back to the beginning and retrace our steps. Initially, the author wanted to write about a desert planet and had a deep understanding of desert ecology. However, that wasn't enough. He also needed to create a cultural ecology for the people living in the desert, including their language, customs, and religion. How did he accomplish this? He drew inspiration from the historical emergence of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam in the deserts of Western Asia, all of which have beliefs in some form of Messiah. The resulting fusion of these elements gave rise to the character of Thomas Lawrence, the famous Lawrence of Arabia, who was a British colonel that aided the Arabs in their revolt against the Ottoman Empire during World War I. In the early drafts of Dune, the traces of Lawrence's story are quite explicit, but the author later added more layers and complexity to create a richer narrative. The point of this analysis isn't to suggest that the author lacked imagination, quite the contrary. It's to illustrate that the most vibrant flowers of imagination often need intricate roots in reality. Reality subtly guides the direction of imagination and provides it with boundless nourishment. Outstanding science fiction novels aren't just about imagining technology and the future, they're also about understanding tradition and reality. In other words, exceptional science fiction should, like Paul after drinking the water of life, simultaneously see the past, present, and future of humanity as a whole. In this regard, I believe that Dune series has excelled. The first book has already established a solid foundation for the characters and the worldview, and the subsequent stories will be even more epic. Let me continue. The second book in the series is called Dune Messiah. In this book, Paul Atreides, also known as Paul Muad'Dib, emerges victorious in the first book, holding three distinct identities. First, he is the Emperor of the Galactic Empire. Second, he leads the Freeman people in their struggle against imperial oppression, earning the title of Muad'Dib among them. And third, he is the chosen one cultivated by the Bene Gesserit sisterhood through their millennium-long breeding program. However, the Freemen and the Bene Gesserit have different goals, which lead to distinct definitions and titles for Paul. The Freemen call him Liasain al-Gaib, meaning, the voice from the outer world, while the Bene Gesserit refer to their chosen one as Kwisatz Haderach, which has dual meanings, signifying someone who can be in many places at once, referring to Paul's prescient abilities, and a shortcut, referring to his role in guiding humanity on a faster path of development. These three identities, though coincidentally converging in Paul, are not compatible with one another. As the Emperor of the Galaxy, he seeks stability and peace, but the Freemen, particularly on the desert planet Arrakis, are engaged in brutal holy wars under his banner, resulting in the massacre of billions across numerous planets. Furthermore, Paul hesitates to pursue the golden path foreseen by his prescient abilities, as it would come at a tremendous cost to both him and all of humanity. At this point, Paul becomes one of the loneliest figures in the universe. His house, House Atreides, is largely decimated, and his Freeman allies have become fanatical followers. His wife, who is a member of the Bene Gesserit, pressures him to father children according to their breeding program, something Paul is vehemently opposed to. Paul's true love, Chani, a Freeman woman, is unable to conceive due to the actions of Paul's sister and wife. Paul, aware of the consequences, allows this to happen, preferring that Chani remains childless to avoid her death during childbirth. Meanwhile, other factions and houses within the Empire conspire against Paul, including the Bene Gesserit and the Spacing Guild, orchestrating a complex and intricate assassination attempt. Paul survives the attempt but is blinded by a specially crafted explosive device. However, his prescient abilities compensate for his blindness. On another front, Chani eventually becomes pregnant and gives birth to twins. During childbirth, Paul's prescience is lost. To protect his children, Paul follows the Freeman tradition of self-exile into the desert wastelands of Arrakis. With this, he relinquishes the titles of Emperor and Chosen One, passing the responsibility to his son, Leto II. So, this is the core plot of the second book in the Dune series, Dune Messiah. The subsequent books, Children of Dune and God Emperor of Dune, take place 9 years later, exploring the consequences of Paul's actions and the rise of his son Leto II as the God Emperor, who rules the galaxy with a firm grip for thousands of years, leading humanity on the Golden Path, while facing his own challenges and dilemmas. The last 2 books in the Dune series, Heretics of Dune and Chapterhouse, Dune, introduce a new set of characters, but the overarching themes remain relatively consistent. I'll skip the details on that for now. What I can tell you is that the Dune series remains unfinished. The identity of the great adversary that Leto II encounters is never revealed in the original series. However, in a later sequel written by the author's son based on Frank Herbert's notes, this adversary is depicted as artificial intelligence, which was explicitly banned thousands of years ago. This suggests that the story comes full circle, starting a new cycle. If we were to extract a unifying philosophical theme from this epic saga spanning millions of years, it might be one based on ecology. Frank Herbert's fascination with ecology is evident throughout the series. He believed that ecology studies cause and effect relationships, and the Dune story exemplifies complex interactions and cycles of causality. In terms of nature, sandworms produce spice, but spice mining is highly dangerous. In culture, the Freemen improve their harsh desert environment but lose their unique cultural identity. In civilization, the miraculous rise of godlike emperors also brings immense disasters. However, it's often the great disasters that spark significant revolutions, and things are never as simple as they seem. Those who sow the seeds of shadow often cannot foresee the consequences. In the realm of science fiction, perhaps only Isaac Asimov's Foundation series can stand alongside Frank Herbert's Dune series. In fact, Dune was influenced by Foundation in many ways, sharing similarities and significant differences. Foundation focuses on playing a grand game where every piece has a higher-level player behind it, ensuring the progression of history. In contrast, the central characters in Dune, such as Paul, the God Emperor, and the Bene Gesserit, also play a grand game but lack a higher rationality to guarantee outcomes, leaving history prone to cyclical patterns. In summary, the essence of this book can be distilled as follows: the Dune series is one of the most significant epic works in the history of science fiction. Frank Herbert's imagination began with a planet entirely covered in desert, and from there, he created the expansive Dune universe spanning millions of years. He infused it with intricate layers of history, religion, philosophy, language, and ecology. The novels primarily revolve around the Atreides family, depicting the cycle of heroes ascending to godhood and then falling from grace. They showcase humanity's attempts to control ecology, culture, and civilization, along with the complex consequences that follow. In popular culture, Dune's profound narrative has left a lasting impact, influencing later fantasy franchises like Star Wars and A Song of Ice and Fire. On a deeper level, Dune serves as a warning that blessings and curses, destruction and profit, are often two sides of the same coin. If we fail to grasp the underlying causal relationships, we may commit irreversible errors. Congratulations on completing this book. Thank you for your support and attention. Please subscribe to the Tim Booker channel, like, and share with your family and friends. Wisdom is worth spreading, paving the way for a better future. Thank you, and goodbye.